A roulade sounds like it's fancy and a lot of work. Simply put, it's a filled and rolled dish and is easier than you think. Learn the basic technique for roulades with my chicken roulade with cranberry. Hi everyone, welcome to today's episode of Let's Celebrate TV. I'm your host, Peter Lee. On this channel, we teach you all about celebrating. We share recipes for food, hors d'oeuvres, cocktails, and we share entertaining tips too. Now we try and keep everything as simple as possible, especially for those of you out there who say that you just can't cook or entertain, because we know that you really can. So if you like this episode, hit that subscribe button, hit the like button, and get a new episode every single week. Today, our celebration is all about chicken. Now, Phil and I just got back from a weekend trip out to Long Island where we visited some of our favorite wineries, and I want to make us a little bit of a special dinner. So we're going to make a chicken roulade with cranberries. Now that sounds fancy, but it really isn't. A roulade is just rolled up, actually stuffed and rolled up. So let's get started here. I have beautiful boneless, skinless chicken breast. I've trimmed it a little bit of all the excess fat that they sometimes have. We're going to butterfly this to start. Flat hand, sharp knife, thick side. Hold your knife level and just make an incision right down. Now you can start to open this up and see if you're getting too close to the bottom. And then you just start opening it up, being careful. Just like that. Now I have a little hole here, and that's okay. It's perfectly fine. Now it's very important to note here that this is still in one piece. I did not cut it into two pieces. It's still all one giant piece. Now before we pound it, let's get our pan heating up. All right, and we'll turn that. Just get that heating. My nice cast iron pan. I've also have my oven preheated to 375. So pounding this out, we need to make it one even level. First, we want a piece of cling film. Nice big piece. I'm going to put this down on my board, and we're going to put the chicken right in it and fold it over. And that's so you're not going to be spreading chicken juice all over the place. Now I have here my handy dandy little mallet and meat tenderizer. We're not using the spiky side, we're going to use the flat side. No spikes, just flat. We just want to lightly pound it. You don't see on TV where chefs are pounding. You don't need to do that. Just lightly. Just enough to make sure that it's one level and it spreads it out a bit. And you can feel with your hands when it feels like it's all even. All right, that's about good. You're not necessarily making it super thin. Again, just even. So let's get rid of this. Now, how simple was that? That was fast, right? 10 seconds. We need to add some seasoning. So on my plastic wrap, I'll leave it right on here. I have some salt and pepper. Now I'm going to throw the salt and pepper out because I've been touching raw chicken, chickeny hands. So we'll throw this out afterwards. But season liberally. You're only going to get one chance at this. We want to do both sides. Just some salt and pepper from up high. Gives you an even coating. Flip it over. Same thing. And some pepper. Okay. Now, we're going to want to fill this. Before we do that, we need to get ready to fill it. Let's move this out of the way. I have some lengths of kitchen twine here. This is what's going to make it a roulade, because we need to tie it up into the roulade shape. So let's lay these out. They're about 1 foot long or so. Probably longer than you need to cut, but you want to have extra that you'll trim off. Okay, we'll bring our chicken back. All right, we're just going to place these on the board on the 3 pieces of kitchen twine, pointed in towards you. Let's get rid of our plastic. Now the filling. This is simple. This is just a can of whole berry cranberry sauce. Yes, I'm using a canned product. I know, shocking, but I want to keep it easy. You can make your own if you want, and I encourage it, but if not, you can use this. So you really just need a little more than a teaspoon. You don't need to add a lot of it because you don't want it to squish out and be all over the place. You want to keep it inside. A little bit might leak out, but so spread it out. You don't need to go too close to the edges, but enough that you'll get some cranberry in every bite. And that's about all you need. Now we roll it up. Starting with a little pointy end, we're just going to roll it. Now don't worry if you start seeing it squish out, it's okay. All right, just like that. Now you just tie it. Quickly little square knots. Now this one's being a little challenging for me. And if that happens, just don't panic, just keep going. It's fine. As soon as you get them tied up, you'll see what you get. You get a wonderful roulade. All right, last one. Now you can do this same technique with meat, with fish, with chicken, pork. All right, some scissors to trim this. We just want to trim off the long edges because they'll just take up room in the pan. Okay, now we're going to brown these. I have a couple here that I did earlier. I'll just add this to them. In my hot pan, a little bit of oil, tablespoon or so. Just plain old olive oil. And we're going to put these right in. Ah. Now we're going to brown these lightly. We're not searing them, we're not cooking them all the way through, but you'll want to turn them a couple times and just start them browning because it'll taste better. If you just baked them like this, So this only takes a couple of minutes. They're already starting to brown. But you can check them. Okay, I've got these browned. They're just golden. They're not cooked through yet. And it only took about 5 or 6 minutes. And I got them mostly on every side. This is just going to start the cooking process, add a little bit of flavor. You don't want to go too long on this because you'll dry out the outside and then that won't be very good afterwards. So when I put this in the oven, 375 degrees, you're going to cook it until it reaches an internal temperature of 160 degrees. That's going to be 10 to 15 minutes. Here we go. Here we are. It's been about 18 minutes and I've got my chicken out of the oven. I used my trusty little probe thermometer and they were hitting just 160 when I pulled them out. Now I have them here on a little hot pad. just resting, and they've been resting for about 5 or 6 minutes. Now take a little note here. I have a kitchen towel on the handle, and I have the handle turned in. This way, no one will walk by and knock it off and get burned, and no one will forget. This is a nice little reminder that this is a hot pan that came out of the oven, and we don't want to just grab it. We want to have something there, so that's a nice little reminder. So let's dig into one of these and see how they look. I'm going to try this one. And all we have to do with our kitchen shears, snip off the string. Pretty easy. There's one. There's two. There we go. And number 3. And these should hold together pretty well at this point. And that's why you want to let them rest so that they do hold together. Otherwise, they might fall apart if you cut them while they're still piping hot. Now we're just going to cut this in some nice big slices. You don't want to go too thin because you don't want things falling apart. So let's just maybe like 1/2-inch slices or so. Just like that. The moment of truth. Let's see how it looks. Look at that. Look at all that glorious filling. It's all juicy and delicious. Now, this has kind of made its own sauce, but if you want it to be a little extra fancy, you can make a sauce with the pan drippings, some chicken stock and butter, whisk it all together, maybe a splash of wine. Now, how would you serve this? What would you eat it with? I'm going to show you. Okay, let's move this aside. My wine, of course. I have a lovely little salad and some rice. Move this out of the way for a moment. So here's some salad and rice. This is just some rice that's been cooked in chicken stock. And we're just going to be pretty. I'm going to lay these out just like that, right on here. How beautiful is that? Looks pretty good to me. Now, our favorite part, we're going to taste it. The things I do for you. We'll just steal this piece right here. Wow, that's very, very good. Chicken is very moist and tender, which is just what you want. In fact, you probably hear some meowing, and that's our cat Salem because he wants some too. That's how good it is. There's cranberry inside, it's tart, it's a little sweet, it's super, super, super moist. And it's fun, look how beautiful that is. Let me have a little wine. As I said, this is one of the wines from our favorite wineries, the Old Fields out on Long Island. So I have to have that today. So guys, as always, we're going to have the recipe and instructions up in the comment section on YouTube. And you can follow us on YouTube, on Facebook, and on Twitter at Let's Celebrate TV. So we will see you again next Tuesday at 7. And remember, we love hearing from you, so keep writing us and sending us pictures. But until then, as always, you're invited to come on over, come on in, and let's celebrate. Cheers!